Hey everyone, welcome back to my fragrance channel. I'm so glad that you guys tuned in today. It is day 3 of my Britney Spears week. This week I'm doing all Britney fragrance reviews every day, and today I'm going to be taking you guys back to the summer of 2013, and we're going to talk about one of Britney's most summery fragrances, Island Fantasy. So this was Britney's very first eau de toilette fragrance, and it was her first true summer fragrance. She's had some lighter scents in the past, but a lot of them, especially the fantasy ones, have been those heavier, sweeter kind of scents, and Island Fantasy really sort of opened up a new door in the Britney fragrance family. Since Island Fantasy, she's put out a few more summery fragrances that we'll talk about later on, but this was the first true summer fragrance, and it is pretty different from a lot of the fantasy fragrances in the line, being that it is a lot lighter and more of a daytime fresh kind of scent, as opposed to the very heavy, sweeter, gourmand fantasies that you're probably used to. Alright, so we're first going to take a look at the advertisement. So here is the Island Fantasy ad. So we have Britney in a white bikini sitting on a beach right under the palm trees. It's a beautiful day. She has the ocean right behind her, just sort of looking over her shoulder at, the paparazzi who are trying to get a nice picture of her. And we have a bottle of Island Fantasy right in the ad there with the name as well. Now, for all of you true Britney fans out there, you might be saying to yourself, this image looks a little bit familiar. I feel like I've seen this before, especially in the Britney fragrance world. And that is because this is actually sort of a repeat ad. We've already seen this image of Britney in a fragrance before. Let me show you. So this is a bottle of Cosmic Radiance. I've reviewed this one a long time ago. This is one of her older fragrances. But the official ad for this, which is on the back, uh-oh. So yes, Britney has reused her advertisement for Cosmic Radiance in the Island Fantasy ad. So it isn't a brand new advertisement, but it is sort of a new sort of take on the Cosmic Radiance ad. Britney sort of took it to the islands and used that as the new advertisement. Now, of course, Britney is such a busy woman that she doesn't have time to make new ads for every fragrance, so we will forgive her. She was also starting her Piece of Me residency in Vegas at the time, so she had a lot going on. We won't hold it against you, Britney. Alright, so now we're going to look at the absolutely beautiful Island Fantasy box. Now you may also recognize this style of box as well. This is sort of very reminiscent of the Midnight Fantasy box, where it had those hazy sort of jungle leaves in the background. Actually, let me get it. So here we have the Midnight Fantasy box. This is such a beautiful box. Every time I look at this, I'm like taken away to Wonderland. Okay, sorry. So as you can see, we have the same sort of fantasy, magical jungle leaves in the Midnight Fantasy box that have made a reappearance. Actually, we haven't seen these leaves since this. The Hidden Fantasy, all the fantasy boxes have been like sort of different, and now we're taken back to this magical jungle in Island Fantasy. We even have the little jewels kind of all around, but of course we're in a new sort of tropical color scheme with the blues, greens, turquoise, and we have Island Fantasy written on the front. Alright, so now we're going to look at the stunning bottle. This is actually my absolute favorite Britney Spears fantasy bottle. I think it's just beautiful. I'm going to hold up a little white thing just so you can really appreciate the color scheme. So that's good. So on the base of the fragrance we have this nice, very light, aquatic kind of turquoise color, and then it transcends into this lime green as we go higher and higher up the bottle. It really gives you like a refreshing, beachy kind of feel without being like too sandy or coconutty. It's just that very lush, tropical water and leaves kind of effect. And then we have the white jewels, of course, going all along the bottle, and the collar is that same color. I'd recommend getting the large bottle if you can, just so you can have like the full effect of the fantasy. Okay, Alright, so when I heard about this fragrance, it was in sort of, I guess, the spring of 2013, and it was at Coming Soon. And then summer came, and I searched everywhere for it. Like, I went to every store I can possibly go to. And none of the retailers here in Canada really got it as like a main launch. So it took me a while to finally get it. I ended up having to order it online from another website. And then I finally got it. I think it was like the next summer that I finally got it. So that kind of sucked. But anyways. Alright, so as I said, this is Britney's first true summer fragrance. It is an eau de toilette fragrance, so it is perfect for those hot summery days. I would describe it as a very aquatic island getaway where you're sipping a watermelon cocktail, and it's just a very warm sunny day, and it's not too beachy and it's not too fruity. It really is a very refreshing island getaway, and it has qualities to it that make it part of the fantasy collection, but also new qualities that sort of set it apart a little bit. So Island Fantasy begins by taking you away to a citrus-filled opening. We have lemon, lime, mandarin, clementine, all the citruses you can think of, making it very bright and lemony. But we also have red berries and watermelon. So it's a pure fruity opening, all very light, kind of easy breezy fruits. The heaviest fruit would be the red berries, but they don't really make too much of a strong appearance in this opening. I would describe it as a very fresh watermelon opening. Almost as if you had a glass of cold ice water with a few pieces of watermelon kind of at the bottom and some lemon juice poured in the top, and you're just sipping that. Like, it's a very, very refreshing citrus watermelon opening. Before we kind of dive deeper into this little getaway, I should say that the signature fantasy note, the part of this fragrance that puts it in that fantasy category is the sugar cubes in the base. It has a nice sugar cane kind of note, and that sweetness is what you can smell throughout the whole fragrance. So in the very, very top, again, you're getting just the citrus watermelon, ice water. And then probably like a minute in, then you already start to smell that sugar cane, and everything smells, I don't want to say warm, like it's not a warm, cozy scent, but it's a smooth, kind of fruity cocktail. You have that nice sweetness that's sort of subtle, but it's still, because the citruses are so strong, it's still keeping this fragrance very light and summery, despite the fact that it has a sweet undertone. I think that's one of my favorite things about it, because a lot of summer fragrances will avoid that sweetness because that can automatically make it heavy, or when a fragrance is too gourmand or too sweet, you don't want to put it on in the summer because it'll just feel like heavy on your skin, whereas this one always feels light. That sweetness is very sort of watered down. It's always present, but it's very just like a wave on a shore. Like, it's very subtle, and it keeps the fragrance sweet and delicious and very fantasy, but it's still very citrusy and summery. The heart of the fragrance is where all the florals lie. I don't find this fragrance particularly floral. It has jasmine, freesia, and something else. Oh God, what is it? Violet leaves. But again, I don't find it particularly floral. I think we just have sort of that generic floral heart that helps to blend things and make it a little bit softer and more, kind of perfumey. But I'm still always getting that sort of sugary watermelon refreshment, sort of blended nicely. And it's a little, once we sort of dive more into that heart, the citruses kind of fade a little bit. And now we just have the watermelon still with that nice sugary base, and now a little bit more sort of blended and softer from the florals. And then in the base of the fragrance, of course, we have that sugar cane and just some light musk to sort of carry the scent a little bit longer. She didn't bother putting any sandalwood or any woodier notes because the fragrance wanted to remain sort of light and breezy, and it does. So that musk is just sort of there to carry it a little bit farther, and of course we have the sugar that's sort of been there since the beginning. I remember a very long time ago, I reviewed Blue Glow by Jennifer Lopez. I'm not saying this smells like it, but that personality of sort of just that washed ashore fruity cocktail, very casual, very relaxing. That's what this fragrance is to me. It has a very relaxing, calming kind of feel. And if you close your eyes and just kind of like, you know, wave it into your face and you can smell it, you can like picture waves on a shore because it's just so calming. And it's not a loud fragrance, it's not too powerful. It's just a nice island getaway. So, you know, it's obviously best to be worn in spring and summer, perfect for hot weather. It is an eau de toilette, so it's a little bit lighter. There's no point in really wearing this in fall and winter. I feel like it can't really survive those cold temperatures, and, you know, it's not quite appropriate for that kind of season. So it really is, you know, the perfect summer kind of fragrance if you are looking for something to be worn that's sweet but not cloying or heavy. You know, this is a perfect choice for you. The only sort of criticism I have of it is that it is a bit short-lived. It doesn't last too long. I feel like of all the fantasies, this is certainly the one that has the lowest amount of lasting power, which makes sense. You know, it's the summery eau de toilette fantasy, but I do wish it lasted a little bit longer. I think maybe, you know, it's kind of like a thin line. No, what am I saying? It's like, it's difficult with a fragrance like this because you want to, you know, add heavier notes to make it last longer in the base, but it's, you know, meant to be a summery fragrance. You want to keep it light. So I think, you know, the sugarcane and the musk were good for keeping it within those boundaries, but it does fall a little bit short in the lasting power. You know, maybe like a very light, like a white amber in the base, or one more stronger floral in the heart could have helped it a little bit, but you know, for the most part, I think it's a well-made fragrance, especially if you're looking for one for summer that's a little bit sweeter and part of the Britney collection. Okay guys, so that is the end of my review. I don't have any products. This one was a limited edition, limited release kind of scent, so I didn't see shower gels or, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's just this that I have today, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it helped you in choosing a summer fragrance. I know it's kind of cold now, but you know, there's always next summer. So I'll be back again tomorrow with another Britney Spears fragrance review. I hope you guys are enjoying this week. So I'm excited to come back again tomorrow. I'm not really sure which one it's going to be, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Alright guys, have a great day and I will see you tomorrow.